Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, I will be discussing Bitcoin, Orchid, Ethereum, and Uniswap. We've got a little bit of news information I want to share with you guys. First off, it is a new daily candle position as of about 6 minutes ago. We're now 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of the time of me recording this video. And if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe for more cryptocurrency news and technical analysis. Also, if you can, hit the thumbs up like button. It really helps me out a lot in getting the search and discoverability and lets me know that you guys enjoy the content. And also click the bell icon so that you actually get notified when we have a new video and you can stay up to date. So drop a comment down below. Oh, I got my headphones up too loud over there on the side. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys thought about everything today. If there's anything that I may have missed, if you guys have questions, things like that. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do not directly ask me for financial advice on what you should invest into. Always do your research, double check your things. I'm sharing news, I'm doing my own technical analysis in this. And let's go ahead and go into the articles. I'm gonna start off with Bitcoin. Some interesting things going on with Bitcoin here. So a lot of people are wondering about what's going to happen next. Bitcoin's been moving sideways. Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? What exactly is the story here? And the indicators are suggesting that we're looking pretty good on getting ready to start rallying up even further once again. When the indicator is above 1, so it's looking at this chart right here, this is also known as the SOPR, or the spent output profit ratio, 7-day moving average, as they're showcasing here. The one line being shown on the far left-hand side, and then the line drawn across just to help indicate a little bit more. And then these are key moments of crossover that have taken place. As you guys can see where we currently are at, it is on a downward position, looking like it's getting pretty close to wanting to touch onto that one. And a lot of times we've been seeing, and I think this is an important note, when it's passed below off of the top end, it's actually reversed and started to come back up, as you guys can see through here. There were some moments where it dropped down considerably, and there was a big phase that went through this cycle right here, but most of the time, it's actually bounced off of that and then came back up. So that's something very important. When the indicator is above 1 and falling, it reflects seller divorcing themselves of their holdings at various profit margins. Once 1 is hit, resetting the SOPR, sellers have sold all that they can, which reduces downward price pressure and notionally allows Bitcoin to increase once again. The SOPR has shown its muscle in various phases of past bull cycles, and the resetting phenomenon was particularly successful at charting price bottoms in 2020. Now, with a decreasing trend nearing the magical 1 value, market participants are hoping that the past week's sell-off may be the end rather than the beginning of lackluster performance. So if we are in a bull market now, according to the SOPR, the correction is not over yet, but it will end soon. 1.31 Bitcoin flowed into Bitcoin and crypto investment products last week, which is where we saw the price drop of Bitcoin down to around $29,000. A new record as investors rushed to buy the dip, entrepreneur Alistair Milne summarized on Twitter Tuesday. He added that 97% of that new capital entered Bitcoin specifically, so it strengthened the market dominance for Bitcoin once again. Continuing on, Signal. If you guys haven't heard about this, a lot of people are saying, hey, stop using WhatsApp, especially people like Elon Musk. He said that he's swapping over to using Signal. So stop using WhatsApp, stop using Telegram. People are really pushing Signal now. So Signal is actively developing payment features relating to a Stellar-based privacy-focused cryptocurrency called MobileCoin, a project advised by Signal CEO Moxie Marlin Spike, platformer said Tuesday. And then the app is also said to be working on allowing customers to have unique usernames amid concerns about its current use of mobile phone numbers as the basis for accounts. So the staff have actually been discussing this, and this is what they were thinking. A crypto payments feature is seen by staff as risky because it may draw criminals onto the platform, while usernames run the risk of impersonators and scammers. There are also concerns Signal may be failing to develop policies on how to handle bad actors. Okay, so how they handle them is a different story, but whether you add in a payment system or not, you're still going to have these bad actors coming in. You're still going to have impersonators and scammers finding ways to use your platform, because now what you're doing is creating a means of communication. we've seen this with the other apps too. It's not like this is some unknown, bizarre thing. So them including a crypto payment system, I don't necessarily, in my opinion, think that that's a bad thing. The only thing that I'm disappointed with is that they're trying to go with their own cryptocurrency, and it doesn't seem to have any indication here of showing support for things like Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these other major cryptocurrencies. So, you look at PayPal, right? You could argue and say like, well, maybe PayPal is trying to do things. You go through a certain procedure phase. You look at Cash App, and there's lots of other options that are out there. Apple's got something going on now too. So if you can validate things to, kind of like a KYC type system to some degree, just to help try and alleviate some of that potential illegal activity and the scamming activities that's going on, then, you got a means to be able to communicate with people, and you've also got a means to be able to transport some more goods. So them getting involved in crypto, I think, is something that could be very profitable for them, but how they decide to do it, whether they go with their own cryptocurrency, or they decide to get involved with Bitcoin and stuff, that's a whole other story. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments down below on that. I feel like I'm getting ready to sneeze again. All right, and this is an interesting little side story too. So this guy right here, his name is Mamba FX. He's a YouTuber. He actually made a 17-minute video where he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to a bunch of Bitcoin ATM machines and I'm gonna withdraw $16,000 worth of cash. Well, he had to visit a whole bunch of different ATM machines, and let me just go ahead and summarize it here. By the end of the video, Mamba FX managed to extract approximately $16,440 after using his smartphone app to find all the two-way Bitcoin ATMs that would allow him to sell Bitcoin. Despite paying a whopping 10% fee per withdrawal at the end of the video, his bag was filled with an enormous amount of $20 bills. It's likely the well-known YouTuber probably paid a few bucks for Bitcoin network fees as well. So, was it worth it? I mean, the YouTube ad revenue, if he got a lot of views on it, I didn't see the video. I'm just reading this article, to be honest with you guys. But if his video got some good views, then he might have very well been able to recoup that 10% of loss. So that's like 10% of 16,000. You're looking at what, like $1,644 or something like that, right? Hopefully I'm mathing right. And then what is up with Uniswap? And also my nose, sorry about that. Okay, so what's up with Uniswap? Uniswap hits $20 billion in monthly volume, eyes a new record. Look at that beautiful unicorn right there. The leading decentralized exchange, Uniswap, is on track to achieve a monthly volume of $25 billion. Uniswap is now the fourth largest spot exchange in the world, outpacing many centralized counterparts. Despite the end of its incentive program, LPs on the platform continue to increase. That's right, it beats popular centralized exchanges like Gemini, Bittrex, Poloniex, and Bitstamp. Uniswap routers account for more than 20% of all transactions taking place on the Ethereum blockchain. Uniswap has also decided to use Optimism as their layer 2 solution to combat high gas fees, joining Synthetics and Chainlink in adopting OVM. Again, sorry about my nose and the pop-ups. All right, and so now we're going to go ahead and dive into the charts here. And taking a look over at Bitcoin first off, we have Bitcoin that is showing more consolidation. I've been talking about this. If it decides that it goes sideways, this could be a great ample opportunity for the altcoin season to be making some moves. And it kind of is. Like, we're seeing some gains that are kind of coming and going and coming and going. It's not as settled in as what a lot of people would be hoping for, myself included, where you see exponential gains that are going on. Ethereum's going nuts. Ethereum is, already past the all-time high. Now it's going towards 2x. Now it's going towards 3x. We're not seeing any of that happening. Instead, what we're seeing happen is Ethereum hit an all-time high and then had a big drop and then started to come back and then passed its all-time high for another all-time high and then came back down. And now it's trying to come back up. So it's fighting the current the same way that Bitcoin is. So even though Bitcoin is cooling down, we're not really seeing as hard of a push as what a lot of people would really like. You can't see the technical radar right here where my webcam is, just so you guys know. It's located for Bitcoin on neutral right now with just a slight little sort of drop pushing gently towards the sell side, but it's so minimal right? And we are seeing on the daily position that it is selling just a little bit right here. But yeah, overall, we're still moving towards this symmetrical triangle pattern and the final day position, which is being at February 2nd, realistically, right? So a decision should be made right around February 2nd. You could argue and just kind of drop this down a little bit more. So you could say maybe like February 3rd, but dipping, like I could just slightly move the top off of this. I'm trying to get more of a relationship of what's being shown. Hence why I don't like to just use the very bottoms of wicks all that much. If I can be able to get a couple reference points that also collide together, then I think that's a little more validated. So right about here, I'd be looking at around February 2nd as a key date for when we could see some sort of a major move go on. And so if it decides to keep going sideways here, the question is what's going to happen with the other altcoins? Is Ethereum finally going to start making its moves? Are people going to be focusing on the stock market stuff? Like earlier, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there's a Reddit group that's been talking a ton about what stocks that they should all come together and buy and just pump. And guess what? They pumped GameStop, and they pumped GameStop a lot. Like, oh my gosh, it went through the stratosphere kind of a thing. And so people might be looking at organizations or groups like that to say, hey, where's the money being hot right now? Before, Paul Tudor Jones said that the fastest horse is what you bet on, and right now the fastest horse is Bitcoin. Well, that was months ago. So maybe the whole transition into the stock market, based on what's going on with these groups, that might be more of something that people are saying, hey, that's the fastest horse at the moment. Let Bitcoin just kind of ride itself out, keep accumulating, and then when we want to switch the focus over there, we could do that. Maybe something like that's going on. I don't really do much with stocks, but I'm going to be trying to look in more to what's going on with that Reddit group and what kind of stuff that they're saying. The whole GameStop thing could have been just a one and done, but you never know. They might end up starting to target some other big name projects. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing illegal about it. It's not an insider trading thing. It's just the community coming together saying that we like this. You guys all want to support it together, and then they do it. But not everyone's going to profit as much, because some people come in later, and then when people start selling, there's going to be people that get burned and stuff too. So it's a very interesting scenario. And let's be honest, it's 2021. I'm kind of surprised that it's taken this long for them to be making some kind of a major move like this. It's probably happened before, but I don't know. Maybe it's just getting more attention at the moment. And yeah, let me go ahead and do some analysis on this. Give me 1 second. Okay, again, my apologies about that. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get back into the chart here. And so if Bitcoin decides that it wants to go up right now, we're actually seeing a key level on a multitude of points. So we can actually carry this over here. And this is suggesting that we have a level right around $33,354. And a further continuation up, it needs to break out of this resistance, and that's going to be at $34,500. A further continuation up. Let's get back to the 0.786 on the Fibonacci level, and that's at $36,900, basically $37,000, and then another major level at $37,859. And as you guys can see with these purple lines, if you're not familiar with my channel, or if you haven't seen this in past videos, this was just a continuation trend based on a previous level back here, and saying, hey, if we had rally, or not back there, starting from right about here or so. And as that breakup continued on, it was to say, hey, if we're trying to go to $100,000, what's the soonest that we might be able to expect it based on this current trend pattern if it repeated itself? So as you guys can see with where we are currently at, we are substantially lower than where we need to be to have that further continuation on with that same level of movement that took place before. But the good news is that that was a very strong push that happened before, and having us have some time to cool down gives us the opportunity when we break up and start rallying really hard to actually potentially push even harder the second time. It makes sense? More people are going to be taking profits right about now, especially with these dips that have taken place, because people are uncertain if it's going to be going lower. And so you're getting the weak hands out of the way, and the strong hands are the ones that are going to end up prevailing. And a lot of people, I'm sure, right now are eyeballing $50,000. Like, we got to 42,000, let's get to 50,000, baby. And yeah, so then we got an all-time high right around $42,000. That took place back on January 8th. So we're looking good still. You know, we're still holding above $30,000. Last year didn't even pass above. Was it last year? It was the very end of last year, right before we got into January, because January 1st I think opened up on $21,000. Let me actually take a look here. So we go January 1st was went up to 29,000. Yeah, so we passed $20,000 towards the end of last year. Absolutely just crushing it. Crushing it, man. I love it. Now, if we go downwards right now, we could see a level of support being formed right around $32,000. I thought I fixed this in yesterday's video, and it seems like it didn't save it. Okay, so $32,000 is a level of support, which we're just $300 above it right now. Further drop down below, leading indicators suggest around $31,000, or with my chart analysis, I'm looking at $31,281. And a further drop down below that actually puts us on the Fibonacci 0.5 level, which is also coincidentally at $30,000. So 30,000 is a very, very key level for sure. Now let's go and take a look at the next coin. Looking over at Ethereum. And Ethereum on the charts. Man, I got all kinds of stuff over here I forgot to totally get rid of. It's way too cluttered. All right. That's a little bit better. Go ahead and get that bad boy saved. So as it is right now, we're on the decline for the day. If it decides it wants to drop further down, we got 1,285 as the support level. Further level breaking down is actually getting very close at this point with the 21 EMA. So there's a lot of relationships going on there. Just be cautious. 1,228, and the actual 21 EMA is at 1,212, and a further drop below that would actually put us at 1,135. Hitting 1,000 and then all the way down to $977 level. The technical radar above my head or behind my head is actually suggesting to be buy, so things are still looking good on that. You can see the volume here isn't too crazy, so we're not looking at major moves like we had back on January 4th or January 11th. Heck, even on January 21st or 22nd. So there is an opportunity to have that start to reverse itself. We could see ourselves having a major explosive move. I wouldn't be surprised if everything stayed below the January 11th level until that decisive move. Bitcoin decides to go outside of that symmetrical triangle pattern, more than likely on the upside. Not saying for sure, but looking really good, as we talked about earlier in that article analysis. If Ethereum decides it wants to go back up right now, we're looking at $1,400 is the first level of resistance. Further continuation up above that is 1,420. As we know, that was back in the 2018 period. And then let's get above the all-time high of $1,480, right around there. Hit 1,500, and boom, now we're starting to look good on the road towards 2,000. If we pass this level, especially if Bitcoin is rallying hard, I would not be surprised to see 1,750 coming up pretty strong, maybe some resistance there, and then trying to go towards the 2K. That's obviously going to be a little bit harder, but you know, Ethereum could very well have a very strong run here very soon. So that's very exciting. And the RSI is suggesting that it's getting pretty close to being overbought. But you know, when you go into a major bull market, boom, things change. Let's go take a look at Orchid and then finish up today's video with that of Uniswap. I almost forgot what we were talking about earlier. All right, so looking at this, a little bit of a drop going on for the day. We got a drop down to the 21 EMA at 28 cents or 0.2829. As you guys can see, we are still in a bull market as we passed above the 21 EMA. There was one daily closure, but that was a fake out, and then it had a further continuation up. So overall, the logistics for Orchid are looking good. We've essentially broken out of this long term. You can see ever since the $1 range, we've been on a decline. There was a bit of some recovery going on there and a further drop down, and then actually starting to work its way up once again. So now from that descending triangle pattern, we're actually starting to form an ascending, almost looks like it's an ascending, or sorry, a symmetrical. Now that I look at it like this, yeah, this is starting to look more and more like a symmetrical triangle pattern. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. That could go all the way over towards, looks like middle of February, but I'll keep an eye on it as we get more and more over there. So if this keeps consolidating off to the side, the question is going to be, where does it make its next move, potentially in the middle of February? And also interesting to note too is they haven't had any major news, and like basically once a month Orchid's been doing something crazy. You know, they come out on a new exchange, they got an update to their system, so they're running faster, crazy stuff like that. So I would expect in the next month, realistically, they're probably going to have some other major new update. Curious what it's going to be. And I really hope that they're going to say that they're doing stuff other than just VPNs. And yeah, so 28 cents, a further level drop down below would be at 26 cents or 0.2635. A further continuation off of that, then I would be looking at 26 cents, 0.2599, and then a further level down below that at 22 cents. Realistically, it seems like everything's just kind of slowing down and falling into this consolidated space. And where it decides to move next, whether it be a major pump or if it's a big drop, this is typically a pump and dump situation, especially given the fact that there's no major news right now. So I'd just be a little bit cautious. You know, if it drops a ton, the next day it may very well end up recovering a ton right afterwards. If it shoots up a ton, it's almost guaranteed that like the next day it's going to immediately drop. You can see that there was 2 big days of rally here, and then guess what? 2 days of consequential decline following right afterwards. Big green candle and everything sold off in the same day. Look at how much volume that was on December 21st. This thing shot all the way up to 36 cents, 0.3650, and then came all the way back down to 26 cents. Just absolutely ridiculous. And if it decides that it wants to start to rally up, then we're going to have some resistance at 30 cents, as we've been seeing, or 0.3044. There shows a lot of relationship actually just a little bit higher above that at 31 cents. You can see it set up right about here amongst everything. This is just a little bit higher off on January 7th, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4 days essentially in a row from the January 21st to the January 24th period. So that's at 0.3117. Manages to break above that, close above that. We're actually looking really good. And then we got another level over here at 33 cents or 0.3379. And then let's try and get above 34 cents. I didn't mean to do that. And that is that with Orchid. And now let's go ahead and wrap it up by taking a look at the Uniswap, Uni USD. Bam. All right. Uniswap, how are you doing today? And you are looking good. Oh, yeah, baby. It had a very nice daily candle gain yesterday. A little bit of a retracement. We're seeing the whole market kind of showing a little bit of a retracement today. As you guys can see, we're looking through each of these different cryptos. So, you know, it is what it is. Again, we're just kind of moving sideways with Bitcoin at the moment. The RSI for Uniswap is suggesting that we are in overbought territory. The technical radar is suggesting a buy position as well. I'm going to go ahead and swap this around here real quick. Let's get this on the, the Fibonacci retracement, and just see how we're kind of lining up with everything here. And I'm going to go ahead and set that right down there onto the, let's go ahead and set it right there, actually. That's looking pretty good. Okay. So as it is, yesterday's candle position was below the 0.786, and it smashed all the way through and went up and tapped on the very top at the 1 point, right? So that's looking really good in that regard. The previous 2 days beforehand, that actually smashed through the 0.618 and to the 0.786, essentially retraced itself back, cooled down some, being just below, and then decided a further continuation up, as the next day, the one I just talked about for yesterday, was very close to the top of the 0.786 entry zone, and that gave it enough grounds to have a further rally. And it's been staying above the 21 EMA right here ever since right around, it looks like December 28th. We even see a bounce that took place on the 21 EMA on January 22nd. If this decided to drop down key levels that we're going to be looking at is going to be at $11.70. Another level would be at $9.58. The 21 EMA at $9.06. And then potentially a further level drop down below that, $8.12. Looking at it on the short-term side, though, we haven't really seen a candle to that extent. Well, we haven't seen it for a red candle. We haven't seen it. I mean, we've seen some big green candles going on with Uniswap, and as we were just talking about in the article earlier, there's a lot of good news going on with Uniswap, but we haven't seen a major candle. But theoretically, it could end up happening. Volume is looking like it's kicking up a bit here, which is really good too. And if it decides it wants to have a further continuation up, right now $14.37 is a major level top. $15 is realistically the next major zone, and then obviously you're going through dollar increments until you reach towards the $20 range. Right here, according to this, we could actually see potentially going all the way up to $22 and seeing then some major resistance there. But we're not talking about this on a daily candle position, although it's possible. You saw what happened with GameStop, right? Anything is possible in today's modern age when you've got the ability to communicate with like a whole group of people simultaneously all around the world. So just think about that. And yeah, so I would really be looking at a threshold potentially of profit taking around $22 if you're just trying to flip this thing. If you're looking long term for the project, it's proven itself more than Gemini already. Think about it that way, right? And this hasn't even been around that long. It's showing very strong promise, and this could have a very bright future. I'm curious to know what your guys' price predictions are for this for very long term. If I just go ahead and expand this out even further, this technically from where we're at right now, it's suggesting all the way up to like the critical mass zone at $54.54. Now this is just a random poll because what's actually really important too is the circulating supply, right? So I'm going to head over here to CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to take a look, and there is Uniswap at number 13 on the CoinMarketCap list. So that's very interesting right there. And the amount of circulating supply is 286 million Uniswap, which is very interesting. And so then let's just say we did the high point, $54.78, right? Calculator, 54.78. So that's the price per Uniswap token times, and then I said how many in circulation? Let's say 287 million, right? 287 million. That would be a market cap of 15,713,000,000. 15 billion, all right? Now just go back to the cryptocurrency list. What has 15 billion? Well, guess what? Polkadot is number 4. Okay? Think of it like that. Polkadot is number 4 with $15 billion worth of market capitalization. So realistically, Uniswap, which allows you to be able to swap your tokens very easily, right? Without having to do, it's basically like this. I want to buy Bitcoin, okay? But then I want to buy Cardano. And let's say with Cardano on one of the exchanges, it's like the only way you can buy Cardano is with Bitcoin. And the only way to buy Bitcoin is with Tether. And so you have to buy Tether to buy Bitcoin to then buy Cardano. And you're like, that's way too many steps for me. It's very frustrating. I just want to be able to have this cryptocurrency and make it as smooth as possible. And also trying to find like the best rates and all that other stuff. So Uniswap is like, hey, let me go ahead and just automatically fill in the gaps through the market. I can figure out the stuff. So you're just like, I want to get dollars to Cardano. Okay, boom, you got your Cardano, and we took your dollars, and then they did all the other swapping around. So it's a very interesting concept, and this is the evolution of the monetary system that we're seeing today, thanks to things like blockchain technology and the utilage of the internet. So I think that something like this in the future, now, I'm not saying anytime soon, don't get me wrong on that, but a price point of like $54.78, the circulating supply for Uniswap, it's 286 million. There's other cryptocurrencies out there that got 1 billion. There's other cryptocurrencies out there that got trillions, right? Just look at XRP, for example. XRP has 45 billion circulating supply. 45 billion, okay? And they're worth 26 cents, meaning that they need way more market capitalization total in order to be able to have a price point like 26 cents. It's easier for Uniswap to get to a 26-cent price, and it has strong application. So in the long term, is it possible to hit these higher price points? And the answer is yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video there. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get to 50 likes on this video. Also click the bell icon so you can stay up to date for all the latest cryptocurrency news and technical analysis. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. You guys are awesome. I love this community. I love that we're building together. Feel free to check me out on Twitter at AtlasOfficialTV if you want to check me out there. And my Discord is Atlas, discord.gg/Atlas. And thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.